Alright, we're back with more Shadowrun Dragonfall. We just got our DVD player, and the display was delivered to the Croix Bazaar, so we should be able to just go back down here and look over the information. No, I thought he was mad at us for... He might have been mad at us for wasting the freaking gang in the hotel. Like, maybe he was working with them. Ah, the fucking red text. Son of a... There. It's gone. Seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Malit deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Victos, have you procured a DVD player? I have. It's right here. Good. This should only take me a moment. It disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The discs should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Victos went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Okay. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. Press the play button. Beep! A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. Scratched LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. Play track 1. Screen glows black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp is 2034-9-15. Hermie, I think we found her. After all this time, Firschwind, I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the SOX to retrieve her. Radiation be damned. We'll take the appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearby as well. Can it... She has survived for all of this time? Screen explodes into static again, then clears. Figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprising, and you'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the SOX, but I do know one thing. If the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. The display goes black and the background whine fades away. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. Play track 2. Screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp reads 2053-12-25. Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange, hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear from him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, hero of the people, the dragon slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. But I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ. 20 years. All this time and still no leads. Even with all my contacts and my resources, it takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. Haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? Closest I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently, a team emerged from the SOX a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but, and get this, he leans into the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly, they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor, considering. I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Abruptly, Winters leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winter's image appears on the screen. There's an eager look on his face. Timestamp reads 2054-10-12. Stumbled upon this archive footage of Firesfang's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. Slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the screen. Timestamp in the upper right corner marks the date, July 6, 2012. Whoa. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. Camera pushes in, you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Firesfinge launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Hearts Mountain town, and you can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. Turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew. Roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack, though? Your wife, your kids? Yeah, we all made it. Thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, when the air cooled down, we stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke. The stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped outside the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open the door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the Fire Wing. Stay with us for more up-to-date reporting on Fireschwinge's reign of terror. Green Winter's face reappears on the screen. You're right. Ugh. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm going to do some digging on Fireschwinge instead. Let's see where this goes. Track 4. Cranks up to speed. Green Winter's image. 2054, 1031. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fireschwinge either. I don't know. It's weird. The information is there. It's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out. Too simple. Real life is messy, and this just feels a little too neat. It's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting that tingling feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Track 5. Display goes blank. Green Winters. Seated at a computer off to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. The timestamp reads 2054, 1109. Christ, I'm getting close to something. There's a trail of bodies and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Martian, Peregrine. They've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday. They were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Fire Wing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community, stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock in them. Not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? Pauses for a moment as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently, a Deckard named Hellbore posted a theory about Fireschwinge to the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in meat space and cooked her entire apartment, with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellbore live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grafts. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This has got to be Fireschwinge. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive, and she's out of the SOX. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtraced all the Matrix nodes that Hellbore was looking into back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. And I found that she turned up when her stabs a few keys on his keyboard and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of a rural landscape annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target. A place to start digging. The Harfeld Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks on the monitor to Winter's left. Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for the job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about Flux State security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Amsel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Till then. Track 6. You play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You're looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at Das Kessel House. Timestamp reads 2054-1110. There's a blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns, clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. He closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the Kreuzbazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and expertise, on-site ice must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money. Real money. Sorry. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the fire wing is too strong. So, let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the Flux State can be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Takes another long pull from the glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. Countermeasures I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it over his shoulder. A moment later you hear the dull clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F state, but still, all things considered. Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later his hand reappears clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. Eject. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. The hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? We didn't know. Not exactly. Not exactly? I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even a part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not. So quiet down and stop bothering him. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Firewing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead and dozens of others have died. You'll be next unless you can find Adrian. Screen cuts to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Huh. The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what you've seen on the DVD. Finally, Dietrich breaks the silence. A dragon. Son of a bitch. Green Winners sent us up against a dragon. The Fire Wing. Amsel's voice is thick with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to regret the fact I didn't just stay at the hotel. Wait a second. We don't know for certain. Dietrich lays a hand on Iger's shoulder. The evidence seemed pretty convincing to me, love. I'll even take it a step further. I think that the secret facility that we stumbled into was her lair. The room falls silent. Iger and Glory exchange glances. After a moment, Dietrich continues. Just think about it. The Decker that Winters got those coordinates from was posting about Firewing. Then she was killed by that same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. There's a direct link between the dragon, the scarred oak, and the Harfeld Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly. My gut tells me that the dragon is down there, Victos. Someplace far beneath the surface. I think that we knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it. And I think that, given what we've seen, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay. Going on the assumption that there is a dragon and that she will come after us, what do you propose that we do about it? Okay, that's going to get us killed. That's going to look weak. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to follow Winter's advice, and we're going to find Vauclair. Yes, Victos is right. Finding Dr. Vauclair should be our priority. If we're going up against a dragon, we need to find ourselves a dragon slayer. Winter spent 20 years searching for Vauclair, and it got him nowhere. How do you propose that we find him? With the help of an information broker. Let me guess. Back to the coffee shop? For this, no. While Herr Borgazi is very capable, a task of this magnitude is beyond him. We need to make contact with the premier information broker in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Blitz scoffs. Alice, best of luck. And I hope that you're rich. For this, rich enough. Even if only just. Who is this Alice? A most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community. Ex-Schockwellenreiter. She provides information retrieval services for the F-State. Amsel turns to the computer console and runs his fingers over a virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winters was right, and if Vauclair is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a black plastic stick. Amsel plucks it from the computer and hands it to you. Here, your key to speak with Alice. Oh, come on. A cred stick? Come on, man. Amsel nods. An encoded cred stick. Yes. 10,000 Nuyen. Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal savings, Victos. Make this meeting count. 10,000 now. Victos is street. He knows how things work. Where do I need to go? Take the U-Bahn to the Altstadt Spandau. There you will find a connecting tube that locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You will find a method of contacting Alice there. Don't call it that in front of her, though. Word on the street is she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I will work on acquiring new contracts for the team. Alice is the best there is at what she does, and her services carry a price tag to match. Alright. That is going to make this a video. Oh, my throat. This game will do it. We will be back next time when we go find Alice. When she's 10 feet tall? No.